Okay. So I normally write little things on the keyboard, but there's not a keyboard here, so I'm just gonna read one of the only poems I have. This is my first time ever performing a poem before.
Anthony!
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I've undergone a lot of changes. Some of them were false. I've crossed over to some other worlds and came back with some faults. I submerged myself in stories and in narratives I hid. I'd like to think I know a lot, but I'm still just a kid. I've felt a many tug and pull, and some choices I didn't make. My confusion made kind of a sick relief every time I'd make a mistake. I've acted in some Greek plays, and I wrote a paper on the id. I'd like to think I've learned a lot, but I'm still just a kid. I've hung around past 12 and heard some terrors of the night. I'd let them fade behind me, and then they'd creep into my sight. Manifests of bigger fears and smaller things I did. I'd like to think I've grown a lot, but I'm still just a kid. I've run into some obstacles of which I overcame. I've exercised my empathy and took a lot of blame. I've bottled some emotions and I've screwed it with a lid. I like to think I'm so mature, but I'm still just a kid. I've rejected things around me and have thrown back in the tower. I've hit a truth so rich in points and heard it called a fact. Sometimes I hate partaking, but I can't stay off the grid. I'd like to find the antidote. I'm still just a kid. I've retreated to a hermit and gone out to the parades. I've lived a day-to-day and couldn't help but play charades. A puppet to a voice I didn't know, but could not rid. I've liked to say that it's a badge, but I'm still just a kid. Though miserable, the idea of being simple I'd avoid. First to guess, but last to admit that there's beauty in the void. Happiness is a quiet I'd unknowingly forbid. And I'm gonna try to embrace it in its full, for I am just a kid.